Hi everyone, and welcome to Startup Nordic Express. I'm Manato, and together with my co-host Sota, we explore the stories of startups across the Nordic region. Imagine having to act as a human bait for bedbugs just to get rid of an infestation. This was the real-life trauma that led a group of KTH students to invent a breathing trap that lures pests away from humans and into a machine. In this episode, we feature Simulair, a university-launched startup that provides a new solution for bedbug control. We spoke with Maja, who is a co-founder and CEO, Simon, who is a co-founder and CTO, and Sandra, who is a co-founder and CCO. Let's get started.
Thanks for coming to our show, and this is going to be 19th episode, and then we are happy to invite Simulairs and founders Maja and Sandra and Simon. So in this episode, we would like to ask you about the Simulairs background and also its technology and product, and also your experience in support you get from the KTH Ventures and KTH Innovation. And then, we'll dig deeper into the journeys of Simulairs. We are happy to see you because we planned our recording in last November.
Last November, yeah.
Now it's
yes, finally.
Finally.
But we've known Simulair a lot from before.
Actually, Simulair is the very first startup I recognize in the KTH because I think I saw you in the KTH Innovation Collide and maybe in the summer. In 2024, and then you presented. And once when I walked into the KTH Innovation, and then on the left side, and then I saw your machine, and you guys are talking.
Wow. So I didn't know that.
I'm really excited to interview you because
cool. Very good to finally have you here. Sorry about the delay, but we're very excited to have you here.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah, so then the first we'd like to ask you about the background of Simulairs. What's your personal story about?
Yeah.
But before that, can you introduce yourself first,
Yeah.
and then sharing about the personal story behind it?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Maja, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Simulair, and I'm an engineer from KTH as well.
I am Sandra. I'm the CCO and co-founder of Simulair, the only non-technical person in the company.
And I'm Simon. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Simulair.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then, you can share the company.
Yeah, sure. So everything kind of started about during 2020.
Sorry about the jump. The audio cut out briefly, but here's the context. Maja just returned from her trip only to find that her bed had been taken over by bedbugs. We pick up the story right as she's dealing with the aftermath.
My whole bed covered in bedbugs and bedbugs all over my wall, and that's what we at Simulair try to solve, the bedbug problem. Many people don't really know how you actually treat for bedbugs. Maybe people usually know what bedbugs are. If not, it's a small insect that feeds on you. So they feed blood. They usually come out when you're sleeping, because usually sleeping, but they stay in the bed. And how to get rid of them is that you call your pest control company. They come out. They put out some pesticides in the room. And then you need to have someone sleeping there to lure them out from their hiding spots, so they will get in contact with the pesticide. So you have to act as a human bait. And that's what I did, and you have to do that for 8 weeks. And these 8 weeks were absolutely horrible. So I threw out my bed and all the textiles in my room, and I bought this air mattress, and then I was sleeping on that one with turtleneck and gloves, but they were still crawling in my face. I did get rid of them after 8 weeks, which was good because that's a quick solution according to pest control companies. But I was traumatized for life, and this was my first year at KTH, so I didn't feel I kind of started thinking, we should do something for this. It's weird that it's not a solution, because I bought everything on the market and nothing worked. I bought all the traps and sprays and smells and things that was gonna make it easier to get rid of them, and nothing worked. And then in my third year, I did a course in mechatronics. And the scope of the course was to build something to like solve a societal problem or something. And that's where I met Simon. And I pitched the idea to him that like we should do something for bed bugs. And he was instantly like, yes, let's do that. So that's how everything started. And for a long time, it was still like a fun thing we did next to our studies. But then we started gaining like a lot of traction, and then we were like, okay, let's actually start a company. And that's how Simulair was started.
Okay, so but like you have to be a human bait for 8 weeks.
Yes.
Since from the trip, then you like kind of bring the bed bags to.
Actually, like the trip was more that I had been away, and I got back, and then the bed bugs that were in my room before a really long time before I went on the trip.
Okay.
It was just that like I hadn't noticed them because they probably come out like very few of them and feed because they don't eat at the same time. So I just didn't know I had them. And then when I got back, all of them had like reproduced and got hungry, and that's why there were so many out and about to find food. So that's how like I found out I had them. But I think I probably had them for like maybe 6 months or something. It's very hard to know. And I think I would say I'm a clean person and stuff. but like I had some bites on my ankles for a few months, but I was just like, oh, I guess it's a mosquito or something. I don't know. Like it's just. Yeah, it's definitely hard to find out because you can't really see them that like clearly, and they only come out like during night. So
like you experienced that like bedbug issues like in your first year, and then you took courses like which is like the what's course is about again?
In mechatronics.
In mechatronics.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like this mix between hardware and software.
Okay.
So we were gonna build something that like had internet. And like you can, it was very broad, but it had to have a moving point. And our teachers thought we were so weird. Like they didn't understand at all what we were doing. They were like, "What is this machine you're building?" But we were really set on our goal. Like we knew exactly what we wanted to do. And then after the course, we thought it was so fun that we wanted like to continue and make it like more like real and not just like for the course, because also the course had like some scopes. So, like they had to have a moving part. We realized we don't have to have a moving part to capture bed bugs. So then we like took like on the side of school just to like refine the prototype and build a lot of other prototypes to find a good one.
Okay. So like you took that course and then you continued that like ideas to the like bachelor thesis, right?
So that was our bachelor thesis.
That was the bachelor
that was
thesis.
the bachelor thesis. Yeah. So the first prototype was the bachelor thesis, but that prototype was like way over engineered kind of. It was like a massive box, and it was like it was not.
Yeah, we saw that in the presentation.
You did. I'm sorry about that, but it did it. Like we passed the course, but we realized that we need to like redesign it to actually make it work with bed bugs. But the still like core idea from that machine is still implemented in this machine we have now. So it's still like using CO2 to attract bed bugs. Maybe that's the only thing that's similar to the first prototype. But so then we started building other prototypes, and then we also started to test with the property companies. Our first test we had was with it was more like it's a refugee hotel. We had a lot of like problems, and because we really wanted to test our prototype, but it was very hard for us to reach out to people because no one wanted to like admit that they have bed bugs, and we were like nobodies, like no one knew about us. So what we did then to find our first like trial customer was to search like on the news to see like we could search like bed bug hotel, and then it came up an article about this like refugee hotel-ish thing that had a lot of problems, and then we called them and said like, we read that you have bed bugs, we have a solution for that. And then like they were like, okay, you can come and test here. While now the customers, they come to us, but back then we really had to like go out and like try to find them.
It's so interesting. But like when you start like the course and then working on the bedbug issue, and then did you think that your research could turn into like a product in the future?
Not really.
Okay.
Not to this level.
Okay.
Definitely not. But I felt so strongly about like the problem, and I knew that if when I had bedbugs, so this was like I had a bedbugs 2020, and we did a course 2023, 22. So it was 2 years after, and I knew if I had bedbugs. When I had the bedbugs, if there was a machine like this, I would 100% get it. So I know like it must be other people out there who would like benefit from this. But it was not until quite far ahead in the journey where we were like, okay, we can actually make money on this and we can make a company out of this. It was more like, because it felt like it took time to build prototypes, and also it needed to work with bedbugs, and it's like. It's a lot of iterations that requires for that, and we were still studying as well, so it was like a side thing to school and stuff.
Okay, then let's moving question to Simon, and then so like when you took took the same course, which is for the Bachelor of Thesis, and then what was your first like impression, and like when you like Maja asked pitched the idea to you?
The idea? Yeah. No, I was like in love with it. It was fantastic. Yeah, no, it was an actual issue that like she had an idea also of, like obviously she didn't know exactly what we were gonna build, but she had this concept of, well, we could build something that like lured the bedbugs out, and she had done this like pre-research of the things that would lure bedbugs out, human breath, for example. So we had this like really good launching of platform, and then we could build a technical solution from that, which was within the scope of the course. So it was fantastic, and I had such terrible ideas myself. Like we had this initial meeting where we just like laid all our ideas on the table and like pitched them to each other. And like my best idea was some sort of device that would like track the ISS and just point at it wherever it was, which would be a fun gadget, but like no actual purpose or use. And then like she revealed a couple of ideas, actually some other good ideas, but then she saved this one for last, and she was like, I also have this thing. And then she gave me kind of a bit of the backstory, and I was just in love with that idea from the get-go. So it was really a fantastic idea.
Then you started working with Maja. Did you think that your research could turn into a business in the future at the time?
Yeah, I hadn't, obviously, since this was a new thing to me, like I hadn't spent the last couple of years thinking about this in the way that she had. So I was perhaps a bit slow on the pickup, but then after, I don't know, like a couple of months, then I really started to think I really want to work with this more. Like I didn't think, oh, this is gonna turn into some successful product and we're gonna launch a company around it. But I knew I wanted to keep working on it with Maja, and it was kind of convergent thinking. Like she approached me, asked if I wanted to take this to KTH Innovation, and which also I hadn't really heard of before. Okay. She talked about it, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. I was gonna ask if you wanted to work on this with me some more, and so.
I remember it was almost a little bit when I asked Simon if he wanted to continue working with this after the course. I was almost a bit nervous to be is this a very crazy, maybe he hates doing this with me. And I was like, do you want to continue this with me after the course? It was a big question.
It was, I was so happy. I was super happy when she asked me. I was like, yeah, this is fantastic. And then when she introduced this KTH Innovation place where we could actually legitimately keep working on this, it was a dream come true, really.
So you guys build kind of the first prototype of this machine, right? For the Bachelor of Thesis, and then it has to be something. The product should have a software part and a hardware part. And I'm wondering your academic background to build that kind of machine. You're studying mechanical engineering back then.
Vehicle. Yes, it's a bit mechanical-ish.
And then you're studying aerospace engineering. No.
Well, I was I am a mechanical engineer as well. So yeah, we have quite similar backgrounds in terms of engineering.
Okay. Is like I was wondering like if your knowledge, like academic background, is enough for the building such a product, or did you have to learn a lot to build such a product?
I was terrible. Like I was absolutely terrible. Simon did it. Like he knew exactly. I had more like, oh, we should do this, and he had more like the ideas. We can try this, we can try that, and then we were working together on it to like iterate through it. But Simon was like well ahead of me in like the tech part, but so I learned so much from like building that first prototype as well, because like for example we had a motor in the first prototype. I had no idea how to make a motor work with the cogs, is that what it's called, like the and I was so impressed when we got that first one to work. I was like, whoa, we just built this like moving motor thing. Like
yeah, I actually have a video like saved on my phone somewhere where we before we installed the motor, we just like moved everything and like had a piston go up and down, because we used like a piston solution with a bag that would like simulate, you know, this tidal air going in and out of your lungs, which was our excuse to like comply with the specifications of the course, like. So we actually built something that would like, you know, breathe in a sort of human-ish way. And yeah, I remember I have this video where me and Maja is like turning it, like cranking it around and being amazed that it actually works. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, like for both me and Maja, we have been brute forcing our way towards all the like solutions. It's more that we equipped ourselves in terms of like learning how to learn, right? So it's not that many things like from actual courses in school that like I personally feel that we have been able to lean on. It's more the thinking in general, you know, how do you approach a problem, how do you find a solution, and then you know, Google's your friend, I guess.
That's interesting, like, cause like we felt like you guys are kind of like good at engineering, and then, or like you're maybe
Simon is very good engineer, definitely. Like he knew instantly like what we could try, and I felt like what we did very good was that we built stuff very early. Like we in the course, we just like the first day we pretty much built some kind of like we knew we were gonna make like some like kind of lung, so it was breathing. And then Simon was like, okay, we should try this. Oh, it didn't work, we should try that. So Simon was very creative in the way to like try to like get to something. So the first stuff was like pretty basic and pretty shit, to be honest. But then after a while, it kind of like got to it, and I think that is like a very good way of working with prototyping, is just like dive into it and not think too much. And I think maybe at least what I felt when I studied the bachelor was like it's so much thinking, like, you know, you just sit and like, you know, calculate maths and physics, and it's so much thinking, while like when it comes to prototyping you just have to do it, like you just have to build, and Simon's very good at that, and so I learned so much from that.
That's so interesting. Yeah. So then, like, you build that prototype, and then you bring the idea to the KTH Innovation. It's also in the 22.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we mailed, like you initiated contact with.
I did. Yeah, just after the course was finished, I reached out to them and said, "Look, we have this thing. Can you help us?"
And then you found a company after the.
No, that was 2023.
Oh, okay, that was.
Yeah, so that was like quite. And we were called something else. We were called like Iphigenia when we started out this thing as well.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was the weird project name that I like randomly pitched, and we didn't really have any other idea either, so we just stuck with it until at some point during our stay at KTH Innovation, we felt like maybe we should give this some other name that would be easier for people to find and pronounce and stuff like that. We started thinking in terms of that, and then we had this really long time where we like brainstormed with other people, trying to figure out a name, and we did figure out a name, we thought. We pitched it during an evaluation segment with KTH Innovation, and we were like super pleased with ourselves about the name, and we're like, and then one of the girls who worked there, she kind of approached me afterwards after the meeting, and she's like, this can I be honest with you? And I was like, yeah, sure. Rethink that name. I don't even want to say the name now because it was so horrible. In retrospect, it was absolutely awful. It was so like corporate, boring, but also like unmemorable.
Okay.
So then we just out of desperation randomly started, prompting like random chatbots about name ideas. And then I remember coming with like a list of names to Maja, like, oh, I had these prompted for us. What do you think? And then like I started reading the list, and she's like, no, stop. The first one was that. And I was like, oh, Simulair. She's like, yeah, love that. Is it available? Yeah, it's available. Yeah, so.
Let's go for it now. Yeah, now we're so stuck with that name. But yeah, I like it. I think it's good. Yeah.
Right. Then, like, you decided the company's name, and then you launch.
No, the whole like launching the company, that kind of happened because I think it was like we had the course was finished. We started KTH Innovation, and then we like just started like, because they were like, you need to talk more to customers.
Yes,
you need to like go out there and like make sure that this is a problem not only for people like me. And that's when we realized, okay, probably our customer is not going to be people like me. It's going to be companies like hotels and property companies and like hospitals, like where people go out and live in and like move around to. And I think we started talking to people then, and I think that was quite good for you as well, Simon, that you kind of like we were interviewing different types of both people who experience it themselves, but also companies, and you got like a broader understanding of the problem, and me of course as well, but like I have a more personal experience. And then we kind of like on the side did like more of interviewing customers. We were also looking into getting our first patent. We were looking into get some funding to get some help with the prototyping as well, some like soft funding that you can apply for through KTH. But then I think we did some prototypes and trials, but then we had this one company that reached out to us and said like, we really want you to help us, and we were like still a bit hesitant to leave a machine with our customers unattended, like we always been around the machine. But Simon was like, we're like, no, we should really help them, like let's do that, we should put the machine there. And they asked like, oh, what does it cost? And we were like, oh, and it's free, like you can use, it's free, like we don't know if it works. And they were like, oh, we can pay for the petrol at least. And we were like, oh, okay, maybe. And we were like, how do they pay for the petrol? Like it was just like, yeah, it was so like weird for us to get paid for something. And then so they had a case where they had spent like 500,000 Swedish krona to get rid of bed bugs. They had like taken away the floorboards, like so it was like down to the ground of the apartment. It was like they tried everything, all treatments, and they had confirmed that before we put the machine in there with a dog, so you can use dogs to find bed bugs. They can like search for bed bugs, but obviously they can't get rid of the bed bugs, but they can detect that they have them. So we knew like, okay, there are bed bugs in here, so we put the machine in there, and then after 3 weeks they had another one of these dog searches, and we had picked up the machine. We still didn't really know if we were finished with the treatment, but the machine had kind of performed well. Like it had done what it was supposed to do, it like purely technical. And then I remember she called us, and she called Simon, and I was so nervous because it was such a big like thing that she was gonna tell us what the dog said. And then the dog has said that no, there are no bed bugs here. And I think that is one of the moments in the company's like history that I have been the happiest in my whole life. Like I just remember I was so happy, like that feeling I probably haven't felt since then. And I think then I was like, okay, now let's start a company. And I think it was just like a month or two after that we were like, okay, let's start like Simulair now. Like we should like try to make money out of this now, since we knew we had something that actually worked. So I think that was like kind of like the tipping point of like, okay, let's do this now.
So it was the first time to find the actual customer.
Exactly,
Okay.
like something that we knew we can sell now.
Okay.
Then it felt like, okay, let's do this for real. Because obviously when you start a company with all the paperwork and admin, it's like so much larger than just like a thing you do next to your studies. It becomes like a real thing then. And
So then, like you guys decided to start a company, and then like Sandra is like joining in 2023.
24.
Yeah. 24. After
Yeah,
launching
so
a company.
yeah, exactly. So I think you started the company in like December, and then I started like in January, February, something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
And so we have a mutual friend who studied together with Maja and Simon, and she reached out and she was telling me about like this company. They work with bed bugs, and they're still in school, but they're gonna look in to get funding, and like they're very cool and nice people. And I was like, wow, that sounds really interesting, but I can't leave my job with like a salary, because I was working as a project manager in advertisement. I was like having a whole different kind of career. So I said no. I was like, very, very nice of you to ask, but no, I can't do it. And then I actually spoke to another person, and I was like, you should really look into this. And as soon as I said that, I was like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that. I want to do this myself. So then I reached out to Maja, and I was like, hi, maybe we can have a lunch. So we had that lunch. And after that, I was like, I'm going to leave my job. I have to do this. So then because you guys were still in school and I had my job, and I just worked on the side of my job with this. So I did like weekends and evenings and a little bit in secret, because I didn't want my current job to know that I was working on the side. And then eventually I left, and you guys stopped studying, and then we started fundraising. But that's the next chapter, maybe. In this. Yeah, but that's how we met.
Yeah, and we really needed, because I think we both, Simon and I, realized that we think it's so hard to talk about money. I think we're better now, but back then we were so nervous about talking about money. So we were like, we need someone who can do this for us, pretty much.
Yeah, I just want to add, like, you cannot skip that part, I guess. But like the moment you started working with us and we started like showing you, like, oh, these are the business plan that we had and everything, and like this is what we're gonna like you were like tearing everything apart, and you're like, you need to actually charge for your services. You can't do like this, and like we felt like we were super proud of our, like I don't know, our silly little business plan, and like she came in like and redid the whole thing pretty much, and then Maja and Sandra collabed to something that's like me and Maja also kind of vibed with. But like in the early meetings we felt super uncomfortable about the numbers she produced.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then like in the end it kind of turned into like, yeah, the things that she said was more aligned with reality and where we ended up, and like, yeah, she kind of proved our idea right, that we needed someone who knew like how to do business.
Yeah.
Because we only know how to do engineering. So.
I think they're underselling themselves a bit. I think the problem for you in the beginning was just that you were so close to the product, and you couldn't really, it was like you were selling yourselves, and it's very hard to do that sometimes, to be like, I did this and it's worth this much. I think for me, coming from the outside and also having worked with like big numbers before, I was like, this is nothing. Like, you can charge so much. Like, people are paying a lot to solve this problem today, and they're not even able to solve it. Like, if you have something that actually fixes this problem, it's worth so much. And I think for you two, it was just hard to say because you were too close. But now I think both of you have stepped back from it a bit, and I think you're both of you, great salespeople. You are the best ambassadors that we could have. So, but yes, the numbers that I said in the beginning, I remember just a look of their faces. They were like, "What is going on?"
She wanted to charge so much money, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
Like,
we're almost at those levels now.
Yeah, we are.
We're very close. But it was also, everything was a lot compared to giving it away for free.
Yeah.
Which is like, I just saw them, you know, like, oh, but we feel so sorry for this guy, and he wants to pay 500 crowns. And I was like, well, let him. And then they were like, yeah, we're gonna let him. And then in the end they were like, no, we didn't take his money. It's like, he wanted to pay you, just take it. But no, now we have a business model, and we're actually making money. But this was early days.
And I'm very happy to have Sandra as well, because like I go a lot with her on customers meetings, because I love meeting our customers, and I love selling the product. But as soon as the question comes in, how much does it cost, I want to leave the room. I hate that question. But then it's very nice to have Sandra there, because then I can just lean back and be like, oh, well, I don't know, it's whatever she says is the number.
That's so interesting. Then actually, like, we thought about like the fee of our podcast channel, and then like how much should I, like, you know, ask them to pay about to record our podcast or something, and then we kind of like how much, like how expensive it should be, kind of things, and then we kind of like discuss so many times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, it's interesting. It's so good to have someone who can, like, you know, you can lean on to about the money and
It's so nice, yeah.
But you also just have to start somewhere and just test it. Like, it's very easy to like discuss with each other and be like, no, this is too much, no, this is not enough. But then you just have to go out and be like, 500,000? See if someone is like, that's crazy, or if they actually want to pay that. Sometimes we've been shocked that people actually like want to pay what we have to show. Like small hotels that are willing to pay like quite a lot for them, like, but then you have to compare to like, okay, what are they paying today for having the problem? So, but yeah, you have to test it out.
Yeah, we should have a mindset to test it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. This will be the last question about like this part, and then so be the question to Maja. When first you started from the bachelor thesis, and then I think you need to, like, you know, connect with like professors and then researchers in the company or someone, or maybe to develop your product, or you need to connect with some like key people, and then how did you connect with, how did you approach them to get help from those kind of people?
I think like first the machine was obviously built together as a bachelor thesis, so then we got like a lot of like support from, you know, the teachers in there, even though that they were a bit, thought it was a bit weird. Now they super like, oh wow, that's so cool, you did that in my course. But like during the course they were like a bit, oh well. But then and then we were part of like KTH for a really long time, like KTH Innovation, for like got help from them. And then I actually reached out to one of my professors in computer vision, and I asked like, oh, can I do my master thesis in this as well? And he was like, yeah, this sounds super cool, let's do that. And I feel like KTH in that way has actually been super supportive, like both, you know, having that mechatronics course where you can do whatever you want, and then my master thesis, which I haven't really finished yet because this took off very fast. So, but one day I might finish it if he listens to this. Then he let me do that, and then also like, you know, all the support from KTH, and you know, they helped us with funding, and they also invested in the company. And I think KTH been like absolutely amazing, and I think for us it was like we really needed to have like someone that do research in bed bugs, but obviously that's not something that KTH does. So we found like the world's most famous bed bug researcher. He's called Dr. Richard Naylor. He's like my hero. He's like the coolest person I know. So he lives in England, and he has his own bedbug company and research lab, and he has like 50,000 bed bugs, and he has 2 bedrooms where one is like naturally infested, so his bed bugs lives there for like many years, and he sleep there so they can feed, so the infestation is like very you know, true to how it is outside the lab. And so when we found out that we can actually go to him and test our product, we were like, this would be massive to like actually. And also when you talk about bed bugs in the bed bug industry, everyone knows who this person is. But obviously it costs a lot of money to do that, like both to go to England and like for us, we were just students, like we didn't have that much money to like put on this ourselves, and also like to do tests with him. But then KTH helped us to get funding for that, because they obviously think it's like super important to validate the product. Like both you have to validate the technology and with customers, but also like it would be stupid if we sold something that was not validated with bed bugs. So they helped us with funding to go to him and do our first like research tests, and that was like also one of these moments where we were like, oh my god, we have something that's working so well, because even if he tests all products on the market, but even he was quite impressed then about the results of it, and he's been a super good support for us. We still work with him today. Like we send him machines all the time that he can try out and so on. So and he's like super honest as well, so he would never like just say something's good because like he feel he would have to say it. Like he would be very honest. So in that way KTH has also been super good to like connect us with and make sure we can like afford to do these things.
But I also think that like being connected to a university gives you a bit of legitimacy. Like people think that okay, this is a legit company, what they're doing is like good and normal, so just like try and ride the wave of whatever university you're at, to like try and like also use their networks, because usually there's like a lot of teachers that have done like had long careers and met a lot of people and probably former students and stuff, so just like try and like squeeze out all the information you can. Probably a good idea.
We mentioned you working with researchers. Back then with the master's thesis as well, you work with the computer vision.
Yeah.
Like, how did the professors collaborate with you and like gave you advice in terms of like technology?
I think it's like, I don't know how it was for everyone else's master thesis, but I had meetings with him once a week where we went through like what the scope of the project would be and how I could do it the best way. Both like he was very supportive in the way that it should be helpful for the company as well, like that we should build something that is both good for like the actual product we have for the company, but it also could be like a good master thesis. So we just like, I don't know, I think he had also had some startups of his own before, so I think he was like super supportive. Like I would definitely recommend it. That my favorite professor at KTH, Carl Morten Björkman. Yeah, shout out to him. So, and I think I think I was just very lucky as well. Like I think he was very good during my computer vision course, and then I just asked him, and I feel a bit bad talking about it. I haven't finished it though, but yeah, one day.
So, I mean, how was like the research doing like in KTH?
I never got like I never got started with my master thesis, so I never even like Maja really tried to encourage me to just go get it. Like she even like pitched to me like, couldn't you do something that would relate to the machine in terms of like it was really pressed on finding an angle like within my masters of aerospace engineering.
But Simon had also already checked out and was so into this is gonna be our future. Like you were like, I'm gonna build this now. I still try to be like, I'll try to finish school as well. And you were
trying to fake it till you made it somehow. But I at some point I just like realized like, no, this is my ticket forward, like this company. So yeah, I guess I didn't really do that much with KTH after the bachelor's. I completed like the mandatory courses and stuff like that, and like moved forward into like the 5th year, but then I didn't really spend much time at like I spent time at school, but only like at KTH Innovation.
Yeah, I don't think that we would have been where we are today if Simon hadn't like given up on school, because like all the time and effort he put into doing this is like the reason why we have a product today that is actually working and like out with customers that are paying for it. And I think everything would have taken, like, eventually we would have gotten there, but it would have taken us like years and years.
Yeah.
So it was we were very lucky that Simon was so hyper focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I felt like when I was because we spent so much time together, and I felt bad that I realized he's just skipping the courses. But obviously, I was super happy because we did so much progress with the machine. So it was such like a, like as a friend, I felt like you should not skip out of school. But as a co-founder, I was like, yeah, go work on the machine. Like it was very hard during that time because I also would feel so bad if this wouldn't turn into like a successful company and he had sacrificed so much in the end. So it was definitely like a balance there in the beginning.
You did the right thing, like treating me as an adult, letting me do my own stupid decisions. But I think, KTH might not be too keen on hearing that.
Don't tell them.
Like this is obviously something that I know that KTH Innovation they really have to encourage their founders to also stay in school, so that they're not like a net negative for the school in general. But we're a bunch of dropouts here.
A little bit before, you mentioned that you not only use the technical skills that were taught in school, but also from Google. How do you feel about those sources that are like available online?
I think like most of my the things that I know, I can only speak for myself, but I'm very much self-taught in many areas, and like for all of our lives we've had this like giant resource, which is the internet, where we can find like all of the like know-how that you actually need, and then you can just try it. You don't need formal education. I strongly believe that. Like formal education is a very nice thing to have, but you don't need it to actually build something. You don't need to be like an engineer to create something that, to do engineering, so to speak. Like I mean, I'm happy that people who are doctors have studied to be a doctor, but when you're doing something that's so low stakes as like prototyping the silly machine or something like that, then just get your hands dirty and try it. And especially since so many things nowadays are like coding based. I mean, you don't need an engineering degree to be a good programmer. Nowadays, that's not perhaps the most the best example, since we're like doing AI programming now. But like the goal is to be a lifelong learner, and you can be a learner way before you're at university.
Thank you. Since we were in the technology part, like, could you tell us a little bit more about what kind of specific technology is used in the product, and what is kind of different from the previous solutions for bed bugs?
Okay, the most important factor is how we attract the bed bugs, and that's like the simulating human breath. That's been like since the day that Maja pitched this idea to me. That's been like the goal, to like simulate human breath, and that's the thing that we do way better than other solutions on the market, even those that have tried something very similar. But we actually, I mean, evidence show that we perform way better than other solutions. The thing that we can do that other devices cannot do is that we can, in a way, control that. We usually talk about the gradient of carbon dioxide throughout a room or an area. So we can control the gradient of it to actually make it easier for the bed bugs to find their way towards the machine, since these are the signals that they pick up easiest on. And that's something that that's the biggest differentiator. And then obviously we have the entire thing with cameras and identification of bedbugs. That's also like something that many customers appreciate, and obviously that's the technology that Maja is working on. But yeah,
those are like the how to attract.
Yeah, exactly, and it's also the I would say the smart combination of these like key attractants. So we have obviously body heat is an attractant, so we are making use of that, and we're making use of the simulated exhaled air. So we're like combining them in a smart way. Also, we have built a device that doesn't compromise in terms of like actually attracting and catching. Many of the devices that are on the market or has been on the market are in many ways compromises in terms of the manufacturer wanted something that's very simple to manufacture or something that's inexpensive for the customers, those kind of things. So we built something that's in a way without compromise. Yeah.
So if you don't compromise, it would be like a lot of techniques in that. Like what were the biggest difficulty through the development?
The biggest difficulty has been and remains, I would say, electronics and connectivity. It's in many ways it tends to produce problems that are very obscure and hard to initially see. Like what's the issue? Most of the straight up mechanical solutions have been sort of the same since I would say like prototype 2 or 3 or something like that. It's like, and we are, I don't know how many, like if we start counting actual prototypes, I don't know how many we built, but yeah, like many of the mechanical solutions have been very straightforward, I would say, and not very hard. Really, I mean, it's since ancient times known thing how to like regulate pressure and stuff like that, move air, but make something warm. But then we have all these like electronical circuits that sometimes misbehave, and then we have the connectivity that's like that's also an issue. Like if someone would put the machine somewhere where we don't have like super well like connection to like a radio tower, what happens then? And these things are messy, and you test them like in the workshop, and everything works fine, and then you put it out there, and then someone places your machine in like the middle of the forest somewhere. And things start misbehaving because it loses connection, and then you like, oh, we didn't script an edge case for that thing where it just loses connection for a short while and then reconnects. What happens then? Like all these things, but we're getting there. Yeah.
So the core technology hasn't like really changed, but like through testing, it has developed.
Yeah, I mean. The core technology, we've refined it a lot since like me and Maja started out working with this. We've like improved a lot of things and made them better. But I would say like if you just looked at it like quickly, you wouldn't see that many like changes. The big changes are in the details, especially with the electronics and the connectivity. And most recently, I think the most recent improvement for us as a company is that since I would say a year back or so, Maja has been able to actively work with the front end of the thing that we actually use to control the devices. And that's a lifesaver now when we have so many machines out. For an embarrassingly long time, we had to like sort of go into the database manually and adjust things, even if we wanted to like change the settings or something like that, which became a hassle when we had like 3-4 machines out, and we're like, okay, we need to update this, and then someone had to like just put on their bravest pants and go into the database and like manipulate the database. But then Maja actually got some time now since like a year back to actually work on that, because she's been so busy doing all the other things that you need to do as a CEO of a startup. But yeah.
Interesting. So I think there are also like some features that you want to improve and that you implement, but at the same time you are testing with actual users, and they would also give us you guys feedbacks, right? How has the customers' feedbacks affected your development process?
So I think most of our customers now are just happy that we're catching bed bugs, because that's very unusual in this industry. So the most of like the feedback we get from them is like, okay, how can we make this user friendly? Like, could it be easier for us to change out the CO2, or in the software, can we see in a better way when we have to swap out the CO2, or how many bed bugs have been caught? Like small updates like that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Maja?
No, I agree. Like our customers, they, as Sandra said, they, as soon as the machine can prove itself in capturing bed bugs, everything else is just like a good thing to have on top of that. Like, which is like that. Like for example, Simon talked about the front end and stuff. The reason also we didn't do that for a really long time is also like it's stupid to have a machine that wouldn't work with a nice front end, because like without the machine it wouldn't be a solution. So I think it was like very good to like, okay, now we have something that actually capture bed bugs. Now we can always like do those fun stuff with the front end and stuff as well. So I think it's more like, then it's definitely more about the machine itself. Like we got one machine back from a customer, the handle had broken, and I guess like they're very nice, the customers, about it, but obviously not good if the handle is broken, because you can't carry the machine. Or sometimes we have to FaceTime the customers when they need to do some minor changes on the machine, and we can say like, oh, this is maybe not that well implemented from our side, because these customers we are working with, they know we're a startup, they know that they are one of our first customers, so we can be very honest with them as well, like, oh, we will send you a new one, or like this shouldn't happen, and we make sure to like send a new one then, and like, you know, make sure they have an update and so on. So I think like more the feedback will probably come when it's at scale, like when we have like thousands of machines out there, but like now our customers are super nice about it.
Yeah, I think like you mentioned, like our current customers are what you would classify as these like brave early adopters still, and that's obviously we know that we have to brace ourselves in the future for like the more normal kind of customer that will have like the expectations will be set higher, and obviously we have to meet that demand, so we're trying to figure that out, but I think also it's not an innovation, I would say it's for us a business innovation for our business, but that Sandra has been working on for quite some time, is that we're actually like able to now send our own carbon dioxide canisters to our customers. So she has made sure that we have like a complete supply chain there, and that's something that we kind of, I would say, not procrastinated for a long time, but we kind of pushed it in front of us. Like we knew it was a problem that we have to solve in the future. Like our customers, like they have the machine, but they need to constantly exchange the carbon dioxide, obviously. But we didn't really know how to like approach the problem. Our approach until very recently was like to just do these constant like journeys to the customers with carbon dioxide canisters in like a car, and just like, hello, we're here now, ready to like
sound
going on. But so yeah, that's I would say that's also like one of these like recent improvements for us as a company. But obviously that's not technology, but it's, for us it's very interesting. I think it's the update that most people like here has been like most excited about.
Now that you have your handle and it's nice and compact, but like, is there a ultimate form of your product being in the future?
This is also something that we've been asked like since day one, and I mean the limiter really is the carbon dioxide canister. It has to be oriented upwards. You can't like put it on the side, and obviously like more is more. Yeah, the form factor is kind of, it is what it is. Unless we have some massive breakthrough in like pressurizing carbon dioxide into
Maybe.
sugar pieces.
That would be super interesting though. Yeah, of course.
It's on our R&D list. No.
Interesting. We talked a little bit about technology. We can talk a little bit about the sales. You mentioned the first customers a little bit and how you met them, but how do you find new customers now?
So it's mostly through our website, actually, or through like customers, like they recommend us, or like our current customer recommending us. I'd say that's the most common way at the moment.
Yeah, we got some like free publicity in the Swedish media because we were working with a very big property company, and they did like a release that they were working with us, and then that was picked up on the news and stuff like that. Really helped, and we've been in some competitions and stuff as well. But as Maja says, like 99% of what comes through is people reaching out to us. And sometimes we will see like a hotel or something, then we will try and reach out to them. And it usually goes very well because a lot of people have bed bugs. So our main customers are property companies and hotels. But then there are other companies working with bed bugs too. So for example, pest control companies and like cruise companies and so there's bed bugs all over the place, and basically everyone that's suffering from bed bugs reaches out to us somehow eventually, or that's how it's been up until now. But we've tried to have a spread, but mostly hotels and the property companies.
I'm not really familiar with the bug industry, but is the problem increasing as a market? How is it like?
Basically, in Sweden, we use a pesticide that they can't become resistant to because it kills them mechanically. But outside of Sweden, you're not allowed to use this in all countries. And what then happens is that all the research and all the money goes into just trying to figure out new pesticides. But because bed bugs reproduce so fast, then they become resistant within like a few generations. So pesticide resistance is raising the like the masses of bed bugs very, very fast. And also because of the ways we travel today, like a lot of people are traveling, bringing them all over the world with them, and they are increasing fast.
And they've been around for like a very, very, very long time. So it's not that it's like a new thing that have popped up. So people have been trying to get, solve the problem for a long time.
Right. Also, there are pesticides, other solutions. How do the customers react when you talk about your solution?
So basically, they are very used to solutions that don't really work. So at first, they can be a bit skeptical, but I think our machine proves itself pretty quickly. So then they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is working!" Like, so very, very impressed, I would say, because it's. Like if you look into what other companies are doing, it's usually like very basic like solutions. So it will be like a small trap that you put under the bed or a new form of pesticide. And like we have a connected quite big device compared to that. So I think they're pretty like some skeptical in the beginning, but then like they have to be optimistic because the situation is so bad for them in the first place. So I think everyone is just hoping for something to work.
Yeah, and as soon as they get like the experience of it working, they hooked on it. Like they just love it because they are so used to like having stuff that isn't working. And that feels very good. Like we know we have something that's working very well. Like we capture bed bugs like very quickly and very like efficiently. So
it's impressive that you can quickly prove yourself
that
your product works
so
well.
like customers usually want to have trials and so on, and then they, as soon as they can say it's working, it's like
Yeah, this is one thing that Maja was like kind of championing early on, like this idea that you have this like constant feedback from the trap, like being able to look into it and just getting feedback from the system that now I've caught like a bed bug, and that it's something that's important to the customer. Like, and obviously she could reminisce from her own experience how frustrated she was, I would imagine, not knowing, and she caught on early on, I think, when we were talking to, like, doing our early interviews with companies, like the frustration from many companies about not knowing what is the progress of this like treatment that we're doing. Like, okay, so we've been spending 8 weeks doing this, are we done? Like, where are we? Yeah, I think there's quite a few customers that have been very excited about like actually getting this like immediate feedback. Like, oh, like we installed the machine and like it's already catching. Oh, fantastic! Like, obviously their problem is still like there, but they know that they're actually doing something, and that's satisfying, I think.
It feels like you have like a lot of problems still there, and your product is like proving to be correct. It feels like everything is going well, but do you feel any threat or like any regulations that might affect you, or like any competitors that might come in? Are there any threats?
Yeah, like there are other companies that work with bed bugs, like startups, and also like the big pest control companies and so on. And but I think like no one is just as good as we are. And like,
that's amazing.
I feel very like, you know, obviously it's gonna come competitors and so on, and yeah, I don't really feel a threat, but more like an urgency that we need to make sure that everyone gets this and get to like have an actual solution to their problem. And also the market is like, it's so big, so it's, if there are other people working with this, like maybe it's good for the society as well that more people trying to solve it. So I think we just, I feel like we have the market in front of us. So.
Are there like current sales strategy that you keep in mind now?
So I think basically we've been focusing on companies that have a lot of bed bugs. So companies that will have reoccurring bed bugs and bed bugs every year, that like they know that they're going to be there, so they have to work very actively, proactively to it. So we've been focusing on big property companies and hotel chains, and we work with a subscription model, so we rent out the machines. That is partly because we don't have an unlimited amount, so we like want to kind of control where we put them out, but also because it's a new product, and when we have a subscription we still like have control over like, okay, how's it going, what is it doing, so we don't like sell something and then never see it again. But we've been taking it step by step, so like the next focus for us is going to be like scaling the production, and then with that also like scaling the sales, but we have to be able to provide for everyone for that to happen. So that's like the main focus right now.
Okay. So now you are using 3D printers in your office.
Yeah.
So then how are you going to scale it from now?
No, we probably are gonna keep doing the 3D printing for a while, because it's like, it's so good to do it. Like it takes time, but we can still like iterate like the design and so on very quickly, and still get like good machines out there. It's like high quality and so on. But we are definitely like probably in the end of this year, like during next year, we're gonna do more like, you know, the scaling of the the parts we are 3D printing today. I think we're more focusing right at the moment to be able to scale the electronics and make sure that we have our components and our PCBs are like scalable. Like we know if we build 100 of this version, it should be pretty much 100% stable. Maybe not never 100%, but like it should be very stable. And I think when we have that, we can probably move back more quickly, because 3D printing is like, it's of course hard if you're gonna come up to like 10,000s of like machines, but of the like between 500 and 1,000, like you can definitely do it. You can scale up the 3D printers, and they're so cheap to buy today as well, and also like the freedom of actually be able to change some things. But we're probably gonna do it more like in iterations, like do some injection molding or something more on that side, with a few parts, and the parts we're still like investigating if this is the correct, like the most optimal design. We will probably keep 3D printing for a bit, and then we can do it like more, iterative on it.
It feels kind of secure for like customers to have all of these machines made in the office, and you all guarantee it and you carry it. Right. Yeah, I hope those solutions will spread and with also maintaining the quality.
No, definitely, yeah.
Right. Thank you. I want to talk a little bit about how KTH Innovation, KTH Venture collaborated with you. In the previous episode with Magnify, we talked about how they collaborated with KTH Innovation. But I also saw that you collaborate with KTH Ventures. Well, it's a relatively new place that would also support ventures and fundraise ventures. How do they support the startup different from KTH Innovation? How is it different?
So like KTH Innovation is more like, I would say, a very early stage. You don't have to have like basically anything when you go to them, and they will still help you with everything that's like, talk to customers, the IP, like early funding, fundraising, like, more grants and soft funding, how to build a team and all those like things. And then, so that was super good in the beginning for us to like, you get out there. But then we came to this point where like we had, kind of finished school, like not finish, but like we decided not to study anymore. We're gonna do this full time. And obviously we would need like funding for that, or some money to both. We needed salaries because we like, we didn't have really the opportunity to be out for a salary for more than a few months. And then we also needed, funding to build machines. Like, when you have a hardware product, stuff cost money, like to build components and so on. So like when KTH, when our coach at KTH Innovation decided like, oh, you are probably more ready to like start fundraising a bit, you can get help from KTH Ventures before maybe you go into like a bigger investment round. So they had this kind of like preset deals a little bit. So you get to like pitch for their board, and it's like, I would say it's like way more like real than like more serious, like because they put money into the company. But it's also super good like to do that where we did it, because then we were very prepared to like go out and do like fundraising with VCs and investment networks and angels and so on. And also having KTH as one of the first investors, obviously it's very like, it's a good name to have on the cap table to show like, okay, they believed in us very early. And they also help you a lot. Like we were allowed to use their building. Like we had our first office there for free, like it was included in the deal. They helped us with like the IP. They helped us like, with, you have like your coach there and you can call that person like anytime, because obviously they care more because they like invested into the company. So it's more like, you're in this together a little bit. So they were super good like as a first investor for us to have, definitely.
Like how was the like experience of like getting the funding for the first round? Like, was it difficult?
Do you mean with KTH Venture?
KTH Venture,
yeah.
Yes.
I can't remember now.
I think that that was very needed, like immediate money. So for us, it was really good that they wanted to invest. But I don't think it was that difficult because they had so much like information on us beforehand. So I think you pitched once, Maja, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, they made their decision. But I think it was relatively easy because they had so much like knowledge about both the team but also the product and how you had been working and how long and all of that. So like they didn't have to do a due diligence.
No, like we also spent like a lot of time at KTH Innovation, so we got to know everyone working there very like deeply. Like, I'm like friends with many of them. Like I see them as like good friends. So I think also in that way it was like, it didn't really feel going to an invested and you don't really know, because it felt like more like, oh, but they know about us, like, yeah. So it was a super good first investment. And then they also do like make sure that you have everything like ready for what like another type of investor would look at. For example, like make sure that the company owns the IP, make sure you have like a shareholder agreement, like all this like kind of boring stuff that is like you don't really know about that you should have ready. Because then when we went out to like fundraise another time, like next after that, we had all this paperwork done, and that kind of like shows that for that new investors that you're quite serious as well. So KTH really helped us like, you know, make us more into like a investable company and not just like a random startup.
Yeah, I think it kind of eases the burden also on like the future investors when they see that, okay, so KTH Ventures, back then they were called KTH Innovation, they have sort of done the due diligence on like this company, that kind of eases the mind of the many investors. I mean, investors are no different than other people. They like you tend to go with like the flow with everyone else, right? So if you see that, okay, yeah, they have done this, they know that they are serious, that they have everything in order. Yeah, it smoothens things out, and so I think it's a very like nice thing for future investors down the line to see them on board, and it gives them confidence. It's, yeah, and like Maja said, it was super nice for us because they make sure that we had everything in order, because there were a lot of things that we didn't even know that we needed to have, like before talking to them. They kind of use that as an excuse to prepare us for like actually like doing this as a company. They kind of lured us into being better by like preparing us for that part. Yeah, it didn't feel like they had any like actual questions. I remember the pitch for the board that Maja did, and she did the pitch, and they had some like very basic questions, and then that was about it. And afterwards they said that they had like really nothing to add to that. They were like everyone agreed that they wanted to invest. So like as with many things during our journey, things always feel like oh, when we reach that point we're gonna be so happy, everything is gonna be so great, and we're like, okay, that's where we need to go. And then we reach that point and we just like, okay, now we're here, where do we go now? Like we just keep focusing forwards, and I think that's important. I think that's what has made us successful in this regard. Like you can never be happy about where you are. You always need to like keep thinking about what to improve, where to go next, like where do we take this from here. But it's also a bit like it's a bit toxic towards yourself, because like we have never really been like able to, you know, sit down and like celebrate a win, so to speak. Once. Yeah. We've done it once. Who knows? We might do it twice. But
if we're lucky.
Yeah, exactly. But it's because we're constantly just, you know, focusing forward. So we always think that once we reach a certain milestone, it's gonna feel so great. But then I don't know. For me, at least, it just feels like it's just a sort of an aha, and then I just keep moving forward. It was the same when Maja called me about us getting into like the official program of KTH Innovation, the pre-incubator. Before we got in, I remember thinking like, that's the point where I'm gonna be super happy. If we get into that program, I'm gonna be so happy. And then we got into that program, and I was like, obviously when she called me and told me, I was super happy for that like specific moment. But then like 5 seconds afterwards, I started thinking about like what's next. What do we need to do now?
I remember that I was so happy. I felt, oh my god, we made it. Of that specific one. But I feel like that when we got into that pre-incubator program with KTH Innovation, and then also when that customer called, that is like my best moments during this journey, which feels so crazy because it's happening. I know it's been happening so many good things after that, but somehow that's kind of just like, okay, this happened, let's do next one, next thing. But those two moments are my happiest moments in the company.
But I think like having a company is basically you just have a million problems, and every time you like move forward, that's a problem solved. But then you just have, well, a million minus one problem left. Like, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like just an endless pile of stuff to solve.
Yeah.
So it's hard to like enjoy it because you know you have so so many other things to do. But I think it's also about practice. I think we could be better at
Be happy about
celebrating
things,
the
yeah.
small things. And
Yeah,
not just the
it's
major
so
things.
hard though. Yeah.
We need a mood manager. But, yeah. Yeah.
Like in terms of like fundraising, early 2025 you finished the seed round of fundraising.
Yeah.
Sting and KTH
Yeah.
Venture and other
Yeah.
investors. Was that a big milestone for you? Were you happy then?
It was because it took a very, very long time. I think when we went out there to fundraise, we didn't have any network. We didn't know how to do it. We didn't know how to prepare or to answer questions and so on. So it took a very long time to do it. But then we had a very nice momentum in the end of that round, and we found like the best investors. Like they're super nice, all of our owners today, and I'm super happy that they wanted to bet on us so early. But that was the big thing.
Yeah, and up until that point, we hadn't had any like salary or anything, so it was just like bootstrapping and just trying to make everything work. But after that, we could actually like take out a salary and start hiring and get our own office and buy tools and like it's you can bootstrap forever, I guess, but it's very difficult to like move fast without like a big chunk of money, at least when you're doing what we're doing.
It's also difficult to justify to your partners that you're doing this. Like at some point you need to start providing, right? So
they were very sick of us.
Yeah.
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 True.
Was the experience from KTH Ventures really effective for your next round?
Yeah, no, it was to have like them as like the first investor and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also
They
that
were-
money made us survive through that year.
Yeah. Then
So-
we could survive through that. It took longer time to do the first round than we thought it would, pretty much.
Exactly. Because the last thing you want when you raise money is to like not have any money, because then you become desperate, and then like the investors can set the tone of it. So like you want to be in a good place when you're raising money, which is very difficult, but the help from KTH Venture like brought us some stability that made us able to like
Negotiate
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
So are you still working on the next funding, or like how is the
So
funding status for that?
we finished the first round. It was like just in early 2025, and then we are raising money now again. So like a year later. So we hopefully that will be finished tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay.
On Friday, I hope.
This time we started off earlier, and also like now we have a network and we have investors that knows people, and it's been so much
different.
better this time
Yeah.
raising money. But yeah, it's a very time-consuming thing to do. But it's quite fun when it's going well.
I wouldn't say fun, but
It can be fun.
It's mostly stressful. No, it's good, and I feel like the round we're closing now is with some very good people as well, and I feel so happy that we got them on board. Nothing's like fully signed yet, but hopefully in a few days. But I feel very happy that we managed to actually attract some very good investors as well, which is obviously due to our work, like what we've been doing this past year, which feels very like cool that you can get some money and then prove yourself and be like, look what we can do, and then people actually want to give you more money so you can like do even more things, and that feels very cool to do. So it's but it's been a tough journey. Again, it is hard to raise money, definitely. Like I think it's very stressful.
But I believe like this. I think it's harder and easier in like for every like step you take. It gets easier, but it's also harder because obviously then they also have more like tangible things to look at, and they want to see more like actual. Okay, but what have you done, and what's like all the numbers, right? So I imagine it's like as you move up the ladder, it's a constantly changing like game at some point. So it's like every like from the first like pre-seed that KTH Venture provided to this thing that we're doing now. Like every step has had its own like specific flavor, so to speak. So it's been different. So I don't think like I'd imagine that Maja has had to like learn as she's gone to like each new step. I think I don't know. You can correct me. If
No, definitely. It's like definitely very different to do a second round and like larger round and so on. It's like so much more other type of questions, definitely.
How has the mindset of running a company changed throughout the time?
The stakes are higher.
Yeah, and more admin the larger you become as well. The stakes are higher, and like you have a huge responsibility as well when you take in investors' money, because like they expect that, like they know it's like a risky way to like put their money in, but they still like expect you to do most of it and the best of it and so on. So it is super scary as well to make sure like that you do the best thing for them as well, and also for the company and for yourself. Like it's like it is a huge responsibility, and I've never done this before as well. So I think it's very important to also like talk with people around you and make sure you have like advisors that can help you, and because every day I have to answer something and I'm like, I don't know the answer to this. So it's
there's a whole like different language. I remember the first time we were raising money, like we didn't understand like the words like are we pre-seed, are we Series B, like we had no idea what those things meant. Like just everyone's talking about a pitch deck. Like what's the difference between a pitch deck and a PowerPoint? Like those kinds of things you have to like learn them, but once you've learned them and you like kind of know the language, those things become easier. But as you said, like stakes are higher, it's real people's real money, and they expect things from you, and everyone butts in with their opinion, and like it can be very stressful. And
definitely.
I think what's important is you have to like feel like what's your gut telling you, and like what's the core like values of your business, and like your own personal values as well. And sometimes it's difficult, like if you're more than one founder, like you have to get along and make all the decisions together, and it's supposed to feel good for everyone, and like all of those things are the higher the stakes, the more difficult those things become, to be honest. But it's also more fun because it's like bigger numbers, and it feels powerful to like be able to make those decisions.
Okay, thank you. So we are about to wrap up the interview. So then we would like to ask the last questions. It's about a future vision of the company, and then I would like you to ask each of you about like where do you see Simulair in like 5 years? I mean, it's a bit farther away, but yeah. So yeah, maybe you start from Maja, and then
in 5 years.
In 5 years, it's a bit far.
No. I think in like our goals is to like be a $1 billion company in 5 years. Like that's what we want to get to. And we just want to make sure that tens of thousands of customers have a machine like out in all the hotels. Like there are probably like around 700,000 hotels in the world, and some percentage of all those hotels are gonna have a machine from us. That's maybe not in 5 years, but I would say maybe in 15 years, maybe every hotel. Like that's where I say it.
Maybe in Japan too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So we usually say like no one should have to sleep as a bait, and in 5 years I hope that like at least everyone knows that they don't have to. Then maybe they will do it, but they will know that there's another solution out there. So yeah, that's what I think.
Right, yeah. In 5 years, like we've been like, if you're counting like from the start of the bachelor's projects, we've been working on this for 4 years now. So I mean, 5 years is a lot of things can happen in 5 years, and obviously things also take time. Those are like two things that you learn. So in 5 years, I for sure think that this product that we're working on now is like a huge success, and it's like popular amongst the property companies and hotels around the world. But in 5 years, I also think that we'll have at least one other product out on the market that's solving a different kind of problem, because the pest control world is quite innovation starved, and we are hungry to innovate. So yeah, that's
Very
where I
true.
think in 5 years we'll have at least another product out there.
Thank you. So if time allows, like just one more question. So for young people and also for the students who wants to aspire to launch a startup, what's your advice to those kind of people?
I think you should just especially if you're studying, you should just do it because you have nothing to lose. Like if you just have like an idea that you think maybe could be good, just go for it. Because when you like still studying, if it doesn't work out, you can put it on your resume and say, oh look, I tried to start a startup, because that would be like super good to have like as an experience. And if it does work out, you have a job when you graduate. So it's like, just go for it and don't think too much.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. And also you shouldn't be like scared to involve other people. Like the whole reason that I'm here is because Maja and Simon decided to involve me in this. And I think that they would have probably made it without me too. But it's easier to do things when you have people helping you. You should be like trying to gatekeep stuff. It's usually like better to share these kinds of things. For both in better and good. Like when things are shit, it's nice to have someone to rely on, and when things are good, it's nice to share the good parts.
Obviously, like both of you said, just go for it. That's. I also want to like encourage people to be comfortable with leaping, like taking the leap without really knowing what you're doing, right? It's very easy to have this idea that you need to know, okay, so this thing I'm gonna solve in this kind of way, and then we have that problem and then solve it in that kind of way. But just believe in yourself that you will figure it out. You will find a solution. There usually is a solution to something. Like there have been so many things that we have had no idea how to solve, and then we just solved it. And that's way after the fact that we started a company. So I think that's no matter what company you ask, even like established companies, they have problems that they need to solve that they don't know how to solve yet. They just believe in themselves that they will solve it. So go for it. Believe in you, believe in your idea.
Yeah.
And you can do it.
Thank you so much. That's it.
Thanks for
having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate having you.
No, super fun.
Yeah.